So really, the key issue here is I think most sheriffs in the state do.
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Good morning. Welcome to Good Day Chicago. I'm Gabriela Primas. Here are some of the stories we're following this morning. The winter storm is having an impact on at least half the country, bringing snow, ice, and major travel issues around the U.S. Unrest continues after another deadly shooting at the hands of federal immigration agents in Minneapolis. And taking a live look outside, another cold start to the day. Mike Kaplan here this Monday morning. Mike, how was your weekend? Hopefully you stayed inside.
Most of the time was inside, no doubt about that. I'll tell you what, though, compared with the city, far north did not get as much snow. We only had about 4 inches of snow at our place, but boy, got walloped here in the city. And now all of us are dealing with very, very cold temperatures. It's a cold weather advisory, again, for all of Chicagoland. This will be in effect until noon. It's for wind chills that might get as bad as 25 below zero. Here's what you've got now. Feels like 21 below at Aurora, 15 below at O'Hare, 14 below at Gary. It's biting. I know a lot of you are doing snow removal out there in this stuff. It is going to be painful. And in fact, all week long, cold temperatures dominate. I'll give you a look at that 7-day here in just a few. Gabriella?
All right, thank you, Mike. We do have some breaking news overnight. Crews respond to a fire at an apartment building on the city's north side. This was in the 2300 block of West Touhy. Fire officials say the fire started on the first floor and at least one person was hospitalized. They also say one of the big challenges fighting this fire were the low temperatures. There are dueling narratives from Minnesota and federal officials following the killing of a man in Minneapolis by Border Patrol agents. 37-year-old Alex Preddy was shot and killed at an anti-ICE rally. The Department of Homeland Security said the federal agent acted in self-defense after attempting to disarm Preddy. But Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says the account was nonsense after reviewing videos of the shooting.
Question is, what's the plan, Donald Trump? What is the plan? What do we need to do to get these federal agents out of our state? You thought fear, violence, and chaos is what you wanted from us, and you clearly underestimated the people of this state and nation.
Now, Border Patrol senior official Gregory Bovino held a press conference nearby. He reiterated the claim that the agent shot Preddy in self-defense after he tried to interfere with Border Patrol agents, brandished a weapon, and violently resisted arrest as agents tried to disarm him. But some video appears to contradict those statements.
Think of what those agents were doing on that scene, making a split-second decision. You've had 24 hours to try and armchair quarterback things. That agent had a split second to make a decision.
Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison will be in federal court this morning, where he'll make arguments in front of a judge trying to get a restraining order against Operation Metro Surge. Amid this, protesters hit the streets of Chicago despite the snow and cold we saw over the weekend. They gathered yesterday at Ida B. Wells and Michigan Avenue downtown. They protest ongoing immigration enforcement. Mayor Brandon Johnson was there and called for defunding and abolishing ICE.
Chicago is not just the greatest city in the world, but we are the toughest city in the world, and a little bit of snow and cold will not stop us. Not only should we defund ICE, but it is time to abolish ICE and send Greg Bovino out. Are you with us, Chicago?
Now, the man found not guilty in the murder for hire plot against Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino now faces deportation. The Sun-Times says Juan Espinoza Martinez was taken into ICE custody last Friday. That was just a day after his victory in court. Homeland Security had previously accused Espinoza Martinez of being in the country illegally. A man is in custody after a woman and her 4-year-old child were found shot to death at their home in Joliet. Police were called to Garnsey Avenue at around 7 yesterday morning. Officers found a 36-year-old woman and her 4-year-old child in the backyard dead from gunshot wounds. They also found the woman's 8-year-old son in a bedroom. He was not harmed. Police say they found the 29-year-old suspect with the gunshot wound to his ankle, which appeared to be self-inflicted. Investigators say this appears to be a domestic incident between the suspect and the victims. A woman is charged in connection with a shooting in Oak Park last year. Officers arrested 23-year-old Lisette Chavez over the weekend. Police say she shot and seriously injured a 25-year-old woman in the 6100 block of North Karlov Avenue on March 15th. Chavez is charged with attempted murder and aggravated battery. Winter Storm Fern turns deadly. Heavy snow, dangerous ice, and frigid temperatures across much of the U.S. has left at least 2 people dead and millions more at risk. Fox's Kathleen Maloney has the latest.
A massive winter storm is keeping parts of the U.S. at a standstill. Nearly 200 million people are under weather warnings from the southwest to the northeast as freezing temperatures, snow, and ice disrupt daily life.
All the governors I've talked to multiple times, and we've been working with them and their emergency management directors to make sure they have the equipment that they need.
The governor of Massachusetts says she expects 3,000 pieces of equipment to be on the roads in her state, clearing snow and de-icing. She's asking the public to stay home and be patient.
It's going to take a while for cleanup, probably up to 4 hours to really clean everything. So I ask that the public be patient. You're going to have people, guys, who've been working 24 hours, okay? Everybody's doing the best they can, as quickly as they can.
More than 1 million customers are without power, and tens of thousands of flights have been disrupted.
I think the entire neighborhood's out. I don't really have a backup plan. No power. I have a couple gas fireplaces, so maybe rely on those after a while.
And so far, 5 states are reporting more than a foot of snow. That number is expected to increase as the storm rolls into Monday. All week, residents stocked up on essentials.
Certainly food, because the big concern was power outages. So definitely food, snacks, thinking about what can you eat if the power goes out, and just kind of preparing that way.
Over the next few days, Winter Storm Fern is expected to impact schools, travel, businesses, and sporting events. Kathleen Maloney, Fox News.
Yeah, you know, some of that video is incredible. And unfortunately, there are more cancellations and delays at Chicago's airports this morning. As of this morning, there are more than 170 cancellations at O'Hare and 30 at Midway. Now, the weekend snow also had a big impact on both airports, with more than 700 cancellations combined. I took my mom to the airport. It was a slow go on the ride there, but she was able to get out. This year's Super Bowl is now set. Mike, you have a look at sports for us.
Yes, we're going to be getting a rematch from a previous Super Bowl. The guy by the name of Tom Brady led there. And let's see, this doesn't seem to be working. There we go. Starting with the AFC, the Broncos hosting the Patriots. All the scoring was done before the snow picked up there in the Mile High City. Broncos had a chance to tie it in the 4th with a field goal, but they missed after the ball is blocked. Oh, it's off to the side. The Patriots go on to win this one in the snow, 10-7. Patriots quarterback Drake May talked after the game.
Going to the Super Bowl, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty cool. So just proud of this team, proud of the defense. We didn't play our best ball in the first half, and the second half came out and just battling the elements, you know, snow and the elements. And it was a gritty win, and our defense, you know, they stepped up. It was fun to watch.
All right, let's go to the NFC. The Seahawks hosting the Rams after beating us. A lot more scoring in this one. Both Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold threw for more than 300 yards and 3 touchdowns each. Rams trailed by 4 and went for it on 4th down on the Seattle 6-yard line, but they're going to come up empty right here. Watch it. What have you got? What have you got? What have you got? And it is nothing. Seahawks go on to win this one 31-27. Seahawks head coach Mike Macdonald reacted to the victory.
I don't really know what to say. I'm incredibly proud of our team. I'm happy for the 12s, you know, happy for our city. What an atmosphere, you know, just to be able to take it in after and understand what our team's been able to do up to this point and how they've done it. We're just blessed, you know, just really blessed.
And the opening line for the Super Bowl has Seattle as a 3.5-point favorite. The Blackhawks, home ice against the Panthers. The Hawks trailed by a goal in the second period, but tied this one on a goal from Tyler Bertuzzi. It was all Panthers from there. They go on to score 4 more goals unanswered, and the Blackhawks lose 5-1. It's not looking good for the mighty Blackhawks. All right, you know, congratulations to you if you got to that game last night. It poured snow in the city. It was lake effect. We talked about this last week, how the heaviest snow was going to be near the lake, and the northern suburbs were going to be largely mist except near the lake, and that was the case. Now we're all in the cold. These are the current temperatures, not wind chills, temperatures. 3 at Gary, Chicago Heights, and Midway. 1 at O'Hare and Waukegan, but it's 1 below at Woodstock and Aurora. 3 below Morris, DeKalb, and Rockford. you have clear skies, and the clearing is definitely moving to the east, so we'll all at least get some sunshine, but boy, it's not going to help much with the temperatures. Winds, kind of a west-northwest thing now, some gusts to 20 in a few spots. It will remain blustery throughout the day, so these wind chills are not going to improve much. Feels like 15 below at Waukegan and O'Hare, 20 below at Morris, 14 below at Gary. Michigan City, 1 above, where you still have very, very close to you a winter storm warning. Berrien County still dealing with some of that lake effect snow. But there's that cold weather advisory, all of Chicagoland until noon. Wind chills likely to get below 20 below zero. 10, that's it for the high today, with sunshine. West winds at 10 to 20. Tonight we'll drop it down to about 5. Then temperatures rise overnight. There could be a couple of flurries overnight with that southwest wind, 12 to 22. A flurry in the morning, then just cold. 16 tomorrow, 15 Wednesday, 18 Thursday. And then once we get in the 20s, I'm worried about more lake effect coming in here. Gabrielle is cheering the 20s. That's something. But there could be some lake effect snow in our area Friday and or Saturday. We'll keep tabs on that.
I don't want to mess you up, Mike. I wasn't cheering for the snow, just the 20s, like you said. All right, we could be facing another government shutdown later this week. What Democrats in Washington, why they're sounding the alarm. We'll have all the details when we get back.
The best Chicago has.
Now, Good Day Chicago. Unfortunately, there are more cancellation delays at Chicago's airports today due to the winter storm. As of this morning, there are more than 170 cancellations at O'Hare and 30 at Midway. The weekend snow also had a big impact at both airports with more than 700 cancellations combined. And breaking overnight, crews respond to a fire at an apartment building on the city's north side. This was in the 2300 block of West Toohey. Fire officials say the fire started on the first floor and at least one person was hospitalized. The matchup is set for Super Bowl 60. The New England Patriots will be taking on the Seattle Seahawks. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl in 2015. They'll play in Santa Clara on February 8th. A private jet carrying 8 people crashed during takeoff in Bangor, Maine. No word yet on the conditions of those on board. Bangor International Airport says emergency crews were at the scene last night. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating. The crash comes as the Northeast was hit with a massive winter storm. Talks to end the war between Ukraine and Russia are expected to continue later this week after this weekend's talks wrapped up without a deal. They involve Ukraine's top negotiators, Russian military intelligence members, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The conversations were constructive, but that didn't stop Russia from launching airstrikes in several areas in Ukraine. Now, Israel will reopen Gaza's Rafah crossing only after the search for the last remaining hostage is complete. The border was set to open as part of a recent ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. Netanyahu's office says the opening is conditioned on, quote, the return of all living captives and requires 100% effort by Hamas to locate and return the deceased hostages. A large operation is underway at a northern Gaza cemetery to locate the remains. The next government shutdown is set for Friday, January 30th, if no agreement is reached. Last year's government shutdown was the longest in U.S. history. The current proposal includes $65 billion in funding for Homeland Security, but Democratic senators have said they will not support it, at least until there are major changes to immigration enforcement. President Trump is threatening to impose a 100% tariff on goods imported from Canada. The threat came after Canada continued ahead with trade talks with China. In a post to social media, the president said if Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, wants to make Canada a drop-off port for China, he is sorely mistaken. It was unclear whether this tariff would be imposed immediately. A man has been arrested accused of assaulting a congressman at the Sundance Music Festival in Utah. Democratic Florida Congressman Maxwell Frost posted on social media that he was punched in the face by a man who told him President Trump was going to deport him. The altercation happened Friday night at a private party. 28-year-old Christian Young was arrested. It's believed he jumped a fence to get into the party. 4:47 now. Mike, the weather was horrible this weekend.
Yesterday in particular, just with
Yes.
that snow pouring down over the city, then that shifted into northwest Indiana. Travel was pretty close to impossible in many areas. Well, look, the roads are still not in great shape. They've done a good job of plowing, but the salt at these temperatures is very ineffective. So watch out for slippery spots, even where you think that the road might be free of ice. Getting the kids to school today, those that still have it, I think there are fewer cancellations than what we saw last week. We've got 0 at 7. Make sure the kids have got the full winter gear, including some kind of special waterproof boots are going to be in order. 7 degrees at noon. It'll be bright and sunny, and it'll be sunny for that ride home. But look at that. High temperature only 10. Wind chills below 0. Gloves, hats, kids, make sure you have them on all day long. All right, so look at our future cast. There is a little weak disturbance coming in with another reinforcing shot of cold air late tonight that might clip parts of the area with a brief snow shower or a flurry. I'm going to mention that. I would think it would be especially maybe Lake and McHenry County, but it's not a big deal. There's no lake effect for us behind that. During the day tomorrow, we will have partly to mostly cloudy skies. There will be some lake effect on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan. And then it's just kind of quiet and cold for a few days without any significant storm systems on the way, but no big warm-up either. Now, here, I'm trying to give a little glimmer of hope here. This is the temperature outlook for September. I like that one, February 3rd through the 9th. And we're still kind of on the edge of that cold air, but it doesn't look quite as cold, and there may be some mild air ready to come east as we get into the second week of February. But between now and then, it just looks cold, including today. A high of only 10, but at least you'll see some sunshine, west winds at 10 to 20. Gabrielle?
All right, thank you, Mike. You've heard of these Waymo robo-taxis. Well, they're now under investigation after multiple incidents in Texas. We'll have all the details coming up. Today, the IRS is opening its annual tax filing season. Those who have their W-2s can calculate what they will owe or what they'll get as a refund and file their taxes with the federal government. New tax provisions in last summer's Big Beautiful Bill may benefit some taxpayers. Some provisions include no tax on tips, no tax on overtime pay, no tax on car loan interest, and enhanced deductions for seniors. A new report says more cuts are on the way at Amazon. As the company leans into artificial intelligence, the company cut about 14,000 white-collar jobs in October as it aims to make about 30,000 total job eliminations. The new job cuts could affect areas such as Amazon, web services, retail, Prime Video, and human resources as well. Waymo robo-taxis are under investigation of the National Transportation Safety Board. The NTSB announced the investigation after a series of incidents of the robotic cars passing stopped school buses. At least 24 such incidences have been reported in the Austin area. The company says it continually improves its Waymo driver system, and there have been no collisions involved. A new airline is crowned #1 in an annual ranking by the Wall Street Journal. Southwest made the top spot of the airline industry's best performers in 2025. Southwest dethroned Delta, which held the top spot for the last 4 years. At #2, another low-cost carrier, Allegiant Air. Delta, which led the industry in on-time arrivals, fell to #3 because last year Delta faced increases in delays, cancellations, and complaints. A major accomplishment for one Chicago area athlete. Oswego High School sophomore Ethan Vall scored his 1,000th point in basketball over the weekend. He did it in a game against Bolingbrook High School, finishing the night with 30 points. It's a milestone that most players spend all 4 years chasing, but Vall did it midway through his sophomore season. Congratulations to him. Vall is ranked as one of the top 25 guards in the country by ESPN and the #3 overall player in Illinois for the class of 2028. All right, an incredible feat over the weekend. I was hearing about this, and it was broadcasted live on Netflix. American rock climber Alex Honnold, I think that's how you pronounce it, ascended the Taipei 101 skyscraper without any ropes or protective equipment. So a free climb. The climb kept viewers on edge for 90 minutes as he climbed to the spire? I think that's how you say it, of the 1,667-foot tower. Honnold is known for his ropeless climb up Yosemite National Park's El Capitan. After the climb, he said it was really windy and he was trying to balance, but he says it was a beautiful way to see Taipei.
I watched this.
You did?
We watched this. Yes, we actually, a friend of ours, Laura and I were having dinner, and somebody said, "Are you watching Skyscraper?" Like, what? They texted us. And so we started watching it on the phone. We had finished dinner. We were finishing some wine. Then we drove home and watched the rest of this thing. It is a hard no for me. I'm
okay.
Oh.
And didn't they cancel it on Friday night? I think it was scheduled for Friday night, but because of weather or
exactly. But he was fighting wind, and then there are all these things, they call them dragons, that he had to climb around up there.
What is the top of the tower? Is it the spire?
Spire.
That's
yeah,
what I
it's
thought.
A spire.
Okay,
yep,
now
it's
that
a
I'm
spire.
saying it out loud.
And it's like a dome, and it has a pin going up, and he just stood there absolutely calmly looking over Taipei. Wow. Well
done.
Congratulations to that guy. But he had special shoes, too, which I found very interesting.
Like suction cups?
They didn't have suction cups, but they're designed for climbing. Very interesting. Okay. All right. We have got to climb out of the deep freeze at some point here, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. Right now at O'Hare, it is 1 degree. It's still mostly cloudy there. We are going to see sunshine today. That's one pleasant part of the day. Northwest winds at 11, making the wind chill what it feels like 16 below zero. It's dropped. Where skies have cleared, it's dropped. It's 2 below at Woodstock, 4 below at DeKalb, still 4 above under cloudy skies at the lakefront, and it is 5 at Valparaiso. These are the current wind chills. A few spots have been 20 below or worse, including Morris and Aurora, but it's mid-teens or worse across much of the area. It's hat and glove territory all day long. Cold weather advisory in effect until noon for all of Chicago Chicagoland to account for wind chills that'll likely get to 20 below zero or worse. 10, that's it for the high today. It will become sunny, blustery, west winds going at about 10 to 20. Tonight, winds will shift out of the southwest, which would ordinarily drive much milder air, and in this case, it's just going to kind of stave off the temperature free fall. We'll bottom out at 5, rising temperatures, and there could be a couple of snow flurries or a brief light snow shower, especially across the northern tier of counties. That would end tomorrow morning. But we have 4 days in a row where it doesn't even get to 20, and then we have 3 days where it at least gets into the 20s starting on Friday. But I'm worried about lake effect snow again. Too early to tell at this stage. Is it going to be focused on the western shore, the eastern shore, where we all share in the misery? Stay tuned, but lake effect could be the big player at the end of the week. 4:56, we'll be right back.
The Trump administration says it will reveal more about the Trump account saving program this week. The president is expected to speak at the Treasury Department event